and welcome. You're watching Don Bosco Media Network. This is Abigail Karmalim bringing to you the Salesian news across the globe. After nearly 8 months of war, with millions of Ukrainians now refugees or internally displaced and tens of thousands of casualties for martyred Ukraine, as Pope Francis called it last Sunday, new difficult months lie ahead, not least in view of the arrival of winter and the conditions under which so many people will have to face it. That is why, with a pastor's heart, Salesian Bishop Vitaly Krivitsky, Bishop of Kiev Zhytomyr, has shared through the Salesian Coordination for the Ukrainian Emergency Response a video message in which he thanks the many benefactors for what they have done so far, illustrates the present difficulties and pleads for further help to all men and women of goodwill. On October 11, 2022, during the peculiar Congress of Theological Consultors at the Dicastery for the Causes of Saints, a unanimous positive opinion was given regarding the heroic exercise of virtues, the reputation for holiness and signs of the servant of God, Carlo Crespi Croce, 1891 to 1982, professed priest of the Society of St. Francis de Sales, missionary in Ecuador. This is a very important step in the process of beatification and canonization, greeted with joy both in Ecuador, particularly in the city of Cuenca, where Father Crespi spent much of his Salesian missionary life, and in Italy, in Legnano, Father Crespi's birthplace. Truly a figure of great spiritual, missionary and cultural depth, commented Father Pierluigi Cameroni, Postulator General of the Causes of the Saints of the Salesian family, who conveys a powerful message of hope and offers us the testimony of a life totally handed over to the cause of the kingdom of God in the service of the poor and the little ones, with the apostolic dynamism and Salesian joy of Don Bosco. On September 29 and 30th, the International Summit Sports for All was held in the Vatican in the Paul VI Hall, a congress promoted by the Vatican itself through the Dicastery for Laity, Family and Life, and by the Dicastery for Culture and Education, as well as by the John Paul II Foundation for Sports, the International Olympic Committee, the International Paralympic Committee, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNESCO, and various international sports organizations. The Salesian congregation also participated, being represented by Diego Perez Ordonez, member of the Sports Commission of the Spain Mary Help of Christians SMX province, present on behalf of the Salesian Youth Ministry Department. The motto of the Congress was Sports for All, cohesive, accessible and tailored to each person, and this motto was the great objective that the Holy Father asked of all the organizations present to ensure throughout the world that no one, regardless of race, ideological condition, economic situation, family, disability, be left without the opportunity to practice sports or physical activity, and that we all join forces, efforts, create communities, networks, projects to ensure physical or sports activities for all people in the world, with special attention to children and youth. With much joy and cheer, the Salesian work Don Bosco El Prado organized a large procession through the streets of downtown La Paz to celebrate the canonization of Saint Artemides Zatti. The route included departure from Camacho Square to the Coliseo Don Bosco. Many Salesian works participated in the event, as well as all the various sectors of the Don Bosco El Prado. The Eucharistic celebration took place in the Coliseo Don Bosco and was presided over by the rector of the work, Father Edwin Cespedes Bernal, SDB, and concelebrated by Father Alvaro Condori, SDB. Today we are celebrating the canonization of the first non-martyrs Salesian saint, said Father Edwin Cespedes Bernal. So it is very important to know that we are all called to be saints and to live a life in fullness that is not only worldly but that can serve as an example to other generations after our death. The year of the 4th centenary of the death of St. Francis de Sales has left a vivid imprint in the hearts of many members of the Salesian family. The pilgrimage to the homeland of the Salesian spirit, held last October 2nd to 4th, involved more than 100 Salesian cooperators from Slovakia. The visit to the places, accompanied by a deepening of the importance and relevance of St. Francis de Sales, touched the hearts of the pilgrims. 3 intense days found their content in the profound choices of the Holy Bishop of Geneva. Inspired by him, the Salesian cooperators reflected on three important decisions: the choice of goodness and gentleness in everything and in spite of everything, the choice of simplicity and poverty oriented for the service of souls, and the choice of abandonment to God's will with full trust in His love. Accompanied by sunny weather, we experience these days as it is there were a caress from God, commented one of the participants. After 2 years marked by the COVID-19 pandemic, this pilgrimage was a true revival of life in communion. So viewers, with that, we have come to the end of today's edition. Till we meet again, thank you for joining us.